This aircraft accident, investigator Fahad Ibne Masood joins me live from Muscat. Great to have you here with us on TRT World. I mean, this is everyone's worst nightmare. And what makes this particular incident very frightening is the fact that only one person died and 30 were injured, but the plane did not crash. It was not an air crash. It was an emergency landing when the plane faced some severe turbulence, which is very common if I'm not mistaken. So I'm sure those who are even watching this sitting at their homes right now, they're all wondering what possibly went wrong.
So this was an in-flight emergency category sort of a thing. We tend to have this in clear air turbulence category as well, where the pilots are not able to visually identify if there is something wrong in the airspace. So that being said, this specific phenomenon, if we can grade this from the data available, is called an air pocket phenomena, in which we have certain air density which is being maintained at a specific altitude to have been reduced. With the air density, we have a reduction in air pressure. This air pressure directly relates to the aircraft's capacity or the airframe's capacity to generate lift. The loss of a whopping 6,000 feet within a few minutes or seconds has resulted into this or resulted from this phenomena. This cannot be seen or identified by pilots. There is no gadgetry, no avionics on board that can identify this. The only time you really find it out is the time once you enter the air pocket itself. That being said, this is once again experienced by a lot of aviators across the world, not a new thing, but the intensity of this air density decrease was so much that they lost about 5,000 odd feet within a matter of very limited time. So problem here is the seat belt thing. And considering all of us who have flown, the flight crew and the cabin crew continuously announces whenever in the cruise phase you are flying and you don't have anything to do, please be seated and wear your seat belt, which will be the only way to survive such a predicament.
Okay, so it's impossible for anyone to identify an air pocket as a pilot. It could happen to any plane at any time. I wonder when a pilot faces an air pocket while cruising, does the plane come down with its nose down, or is it just a drop of thousands of feet like this, or does it go down with its nose?
It is exactly as it is. It falls down like a stone. The nose doesn't bunt down, it doesn't bunt up. The lift generation capacity of the aircraft completely reduces and the aircraft continues to fall like a stone. This phenomena also relates to two meteorological scenarios. One is the CB cells, which is the cumulonimbus cells that we have in the atmosphere. These are a certain type of rain making, thunder generating clouds. And the other is a jet stream that we identify in the air. Both of these, at the peripheries of both of these meteorological phenomenon, we have experienced or we experience this sharp air density reduction, in turn air pressure reduction, in turn lift generation capacity reduction. So very challenging a situation for any flight crew to experience. Any non-flight crew who is a passenger on such an aircraft, a very, very dubious situation. It is very lucky that we have limited to injuries where, yes, we have lost one valuable soul, but injuries have been very limited. Thanks once again to a job well done by the cabin
Right.
crew and the flight crew as well, pre, at the event, and post event procedures that they followed.
Now, Fahad, let me ask you, you are an aircraft accident investigator, as someone who has investigated aircraft incidents in the past. Let me ask you, what would you like to say to those who do not wear their seatbelts while flying, while cruising at thousands of feet, how imperative is it for passengers to ensure that they always fasten their seatbelts?
Yes, just like once we drive in a car, there are policemen or women who are checking us, or cameras which are checking us for our seat belts on. Similarly, there is no police situation in the air. But once again, God forbid, there is certain emergency just like this, or an emergency on ground in the car, we will be only saved by the wearing of that seat belt. It is mission critical for anyone and everyone who is traveling across the globe, may it be for a short haul flight or a long haul flight, just like this London Changi airport flight. We have to keep our belts on because that is the only solution for us to be safe in a situation which even the pilots cannot identify.
Fahad Ibne Masood, thanks very much for talking to us here on TRT World. Thank you very much for sharing your valuable insights. Thanks a lot.